everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dawn Huffy. I'm the owner of Liberty Belle Coaching, and my life coaching certifications came through the Brave Thinking Institute. I usually don't put out a video so close to my last video, but for some reason this video needed to get out today, so here I am. I'd like to start out today with a quote, and this quote comes from the book The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And here's the book. The quote is about gratitude, and it says, "Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude." Now, gratitude is on the same frequency as abundance. They both vibrate very high, which is a good thing. And this quote is telling us that if we have a lack of gratitude, we will be kept in the vibration of poverty. Before I get to the devil's garage sale story, I want to show you this chart called the Feelings Vibration Chart. Okay, and here's the chart. All feelings have a certain vibration. And you know when someone is angry, it feels uncomfortable. And there is a reason for that. It is because anger vibrates at a low level of 150. Let me find it and point it out to you, okay? So here is anger vibrating pretty low. Okay. Now, look where love is. Love is vibrating quite high at a level of 500. So we really do want to stay at 500 or above with our feelings as much as we can. Of course, we will have these lower level vibrations at times because situations happen and they may make us angry or sad or whatever, but my main message for you is to get yourself out of those low level vibrations as soon as you can. Now, abundance and gratitude are not on this chart, but both of them have the same vibration, and they vibrate at 650, which is even higher than love. You know how glorious you feel when you are feeling intense gratitude. I had an experience of that this weekend. It was just so wonderful. I was at a worship meeting and the gratitude was just so glorious. It was just beautiful. It's such an amazing experience. So you can see why that can even be higher on the vibration chart. Now, let's talk about where poverty is vibrating. Poverty vibrates at 75, which is on the same level as grief. And we know how grief feels. It feels tough. It feels difficult. We've all experienced grief at some point in our lives, and it is just not a comfortable place to be. And neither is the vibration of poverty. Yet so many people think from a poverty mindset, a lack mindset. And that closes off opportunities. It closes off our joy. We really want to keep our feelings at the level of love or above. Of course, we will drop down when certain things happen, but we must do what we can with what we have to get ourselves out of those low-level feelings. Do not make friends with the feelings of pride, anger, fear, apathy, guilt, and shame. My point here is this: do not let these feelings stay around for too long. Now, let's move on to the story from my coach, Mary Morrissey, which has a strong message for us about gratitude. The title of the story is The Devil's Garage Sale. There was a red box full of anger, a green box full of greed, a black box full of fear, a yellow box full of envy, and many other colorful boxes that were laid on the tables of the devil's garage. Someone came to shop around and asked, "Mr. Devil, sir, are you retiring or something? Why are you selling everything? How are you going to do your work? You won't have anything left to weaken people's belief in themselves or in life anymore. And the devil replied, oh, I still have a secret box, something that always works. And I realize that it's the only tool that I'll ever really need. And the shopper said, is that so? Well, may I see it? And the devil said, well, it's not for sale, but yes, I'll show it to you. The shopper was anxious to see what the secret tool was. The devil pulled out a shiny, sparkly, glittery gold box that fit in the palm of his hand. And the shopper was so very disappointed that it wasn't for sale because the box was so beautiful. And the shopper thought surely it couldn't be an ugly tool like anger and fear because the container was so attractive. And the shopper could see buying that and taking it home and showing it to others. Then the devil, seeing his opportunity, opened the box ever so slightly and invited the shopper to peek inside. All it takes is just a peek. It's just a glimpse of this tool, and you'll see what I mean. So the shopper peeked inside and then saw it and knew that the devil was right. It was indeed a very powerful tool, and the shopper knew that it would be very simple to share with others because it looked so light on the outside, but it was dark on the inside. What the shopper saw in this box was discouragement. The shopper paused and for a moment was discouraged, and then remembered they had their own toolbox. Mr. Devil, sir, thank you for showing me what's inside of that box. I appreciate your time, but I won't be buying anything here today. Ugh, said the devil. There is one thing I cannot defeat. Oh, what's that? Said the shopper. And the devil replied plainly and simply, gratitude. Gratitude is the one thing I can't defeat. Okay, so in this story, when the devil tempted the shopper into peeking at the discouragement, the shopper fell into discouragement. My dad had so many sayings, and when he thought someone was acting reckless, he would say this: he's flirting with the undertaker. And we are flirting with the devil when we are choosing recklessly, and this includes choosing how we are feeling. Remember, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and he does not care how he achieves these goals. But he knows that discouragement can really lead people to give up and do awful things. Now, back to the moral of the story. When the shopper experienced the devil's discouragement, he remembered that he had a toolbox too, and in his toolbox was one of the most powerful tools of all: gratitude. We must simply watch out for slipping into discouragement. Notice when you are sliding into dismay. Discouragement and dismay pull us away from our dream, away from our joy, and away from our potential. Notice the discouragement before it takes over your whole mind. Some of us have had devastating things happen, and finding the strength on our own to cope is extremely tough. But God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit will bolster us in order to make it through all of that devastation. Deepak Chopra said this: there are no extra pieces in the universe. Everyone is here because he or she has a place to fill, and every piece must fit itself into the big puzzle. We all have an important place here. We all have a mission. We all impact others in ways that we cannot even imagine. Every one of us is valuable and important. So we could say that knowing that we are valuable and important is another powerful tool for us. In our humanness, when we have something devastating happen, we can get stuck in the devil's tools of bitterness and revenge, or we can get stuck in a myriad of other damaging emotions like defeat, and discouragement and depression. But remember, the peace that God provides pulls us away from the devil's tools. The devil hates gratitude because he cannot overcome it. We must rebuke the devil's demonic tools in Jesus' mighty and powerful name. The devil's garage sale is always open. Don't allow the devil's discouragement to take a foothold in your life. With God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and their tools, we are more powerful than all of that discouragement. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.